is it right for Spurs fans to be chanting Levy out at games at the moment?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. Why not? We're the fans. We pay the money. We're paying, you know, like...
You guys in the Levy camp? Out.
Levy out camp, yeah.
Do you know what it is? I'm going to put it all out there now. I will never say that ENIC ruined our club. ENIC took our club forward. Daniel Levy and ENIC took our club forward. Standard. That ground, the facilities. We are a top 6 club. We are a worldwide entity now, yeah? When I was younger growing up, you know when you go like to Spain and that, and you had the geezer like, hello, and you're trying to buy like a shirt.
You had to watch Stuart Nethercott growing up.
But it was Man United shirts. It was Liverpool shirts. You see the looky men with Spurs shirts now, right? That's an indication of where your club's growing internationally, even though they're not getting the money from the shirts. It's like, so we've gone forward as a club, but now is the time that if you want to stay there and you want to go forward, then you need to go harder with investments. You need someone to come in the way they're going to do it at Newcastle, the way that Todd's come in at Chelsea today.
I don't necessarily think it's about money.
It is about money.
I think it's about player choice and recruitment.
No, but
that needs to be better. But it's money.
It all comes down to money, because when you could
we spent a bit of money though.
No, but not the right money, because when you could get Jack Grealish, but you don't want to pay £20 million, you want to pay £8 million for him.
There's obviously
that's money.
examples like that.
Bruno Fernandes. There's so many examples like that.
That's what I'm saying. There is examples.
So it comes down to money.
But it's not necessarily.
Yeah, but we go and spend the money in the wrong places.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let's talk about £65 million and Dembele then.
Absolute poor choice.
Got from him, but that's a tag, £65 million.
Yeah, but
everyone was looking.
No,
at
but
that
Daniel
point.
Levy saw that as it could be £120 million. Is the hottest prospect in Europe.
I just think
it wasn't proven. It wasn't proven.
Hottest prospect in Europe that can't last 90 minutes.
We can't afford to keep getting recruitment wrong now. We're at a stage where when we bring in players, they have to be success stories. There's been too many that have not been. That's the problem.
I just think for me, it's culture. It's a cultural thing. For Tottenham, I just look at other clubs, and it seems to me that especially the top clubs right now, is their full focus is on football, trying to get their teams into a position where they're challenging, improving all the time. Football's at the forefront. I just feel like always at Tottenham, football's not the priority. Football's not the #1 priority at Tottenham. It's always second or third to other infrastructure deals, to NFL, to all these, to concerts, to all these different things. And then there's money left over. We'll try and improve the footballing side. And I always feel like the boardroom isn't obsessed with trying to make Tottenham great and trying to win trophies. All they want is just enough investment to try and challenge for those champion spots, and then try and make it. And
this weekend we've got Wizkid doing a bloody tour.
That really annoyed me, right? That really annoyed me, because that was the day after the North London derby loss, and you had that social media guy at Spurs like laughing down the camera on the pitch, being like, "Oh, Wizkid's coming here." I was like, I don't give a shit. Wizkid's coming here. We just lost to Arsenal in the North London derby.
Absolutely. Just
got our trousers pulled down.
But that's a fantastic assessment that you made of it there. That was it in a nutshell. Really, really was. It's quite simple.
But what do you say? Like, I don't know if you saw. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. Simon Jordan on Talk Sport. He was asked about, what do you think about Tottenham fans singing, Levy out at away games to see, is he the problem at Tottenham, and is he the reason why? And Spurs are not maybe doing as well at the moment. He said that Daniel Levy is not the reason why Tottenham fans are not enjoying watching their team right now. And he basically said Tottenham fans are idiots if they're chanting for Levy out at ground. Also, Gary Neville on Sky Sports said, if you look at Tottenham, their position, I don't know why Tottenham fans are complaining right now. There's nothing to complain about. They are where they should be, and Daniel Levy's doing a good job. So what do you think? What do you say to those kind of guys?
I agree with that, but I think it is with the whole Daniel Levy thing it's a repeat. We come to the same place.
That's it.
Every time. And where we are right now is at that stage with Pochettino where it started to go a little bit sour, and he come out and he started saying stuff like, well, if I win the Champions League, I should leave. I'm not the manager, I'm the coach. So even nice Poch, after all them years, was like, I've had enough now. I'm just going to start speaking the truth. So we can see we're at that point again. Because if Conte goes in the summer and Harry Kane goes in the summer, and Lloris is likely to be out as well, and we've got this painful rebuild that we always talk about doing, rather than having to painfully rebuild every 6-7 years, it's like keep strengthening and get better and better with those players around, And it was unfortunate that at that time, and Danny Rose come out and said it. He goes, "We're signing people after Google." That says everything about the culture of Daniel Levy, as we said.
It hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. We're still Googling the signings, the difference is this time round, like with Paratici, we got a Kulu and a Bentancur. That we ain't seen that happen for a while. Who's come instantly into our first 11 and been good
it's
in
rare.
the last sort of 10?
There's a lot of players that sign for clubs in the Premier League that you don't know. I think people would be lying if they said they know all of the players that go.
No,
You've got to be watching every single football match in Europe.
No, I think there's a massive difference between that and Arsenal signing Ben White, a proven centre back, who everyone laughed
He's
at.
playing at right back now.
Yeah, but that's Arteta just getting the best out of what he needs in that situation.
50 million he cost, by the way.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they went into the Premier League market and brought Zinchenko and Jesus. They know the game. So you're buying players in a league that they already play, that know what they're doing. You could argue that's Basuma and Richarlison, but they haven't had a chance yet. But I just think culturally with Levy, as we say, it's rinse and repeat, as you said. Let's see how far we can go. We come back. And the scary thing is now, the Premier League's got harder, and the game's changed now. So
And every year it's getting harder.
every
and harder.
year it's harder to stay up.
More and more investment. There seems to be more and more people wanting to buy clubs in the Premier League.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So it gets worse. It gets harder.
I think Spurs, the only way that
Sell.
the only
Would you
way
be
that
open
Spurs,
to the Qataris?
absolutely. I think the only way that Spurs fans are going to be satisfied
Give me the gear. I'll have the full gear on.
because we're in and around that 5th, 6th, haven't we? Constantly, we've been there for a few years now. The only way that Spurs fans are going to be satisfied is someone comes in with the intention, as you said, that Daniel Levy's not got presently, is to win trophies, deliver for Tottenham year in year, and whatever's required. When you foul on a player, go again. If you foul in another position, you go again. Tottenham, it's going to be difficult to get that person though, because Tottenham are not a cheap option. I've said this before. You know what I mean? They are not a cheap option, and the difference that Tottenham have had, I've said it, the difference that Tottenham have done over the last few years that our other competitors haven't, is putting £1 billion stadium. Comes with a lot of debt, comes with a lot of issues. So, interesting debate that one, but Tottenham fans, and me included, it's time for change, but it's not as easy as just change.
But the way that Spurs is set up as a business with the NFL association, the fact we've got no naming rights, everything is there for someone to come in and go, here we go, we're going to pay you a load of money. But the problem is the people doing the business to get that over the line. My goodness, if it's bad enough signing players, imagine selling a whole business off. I just don't think that you look at the sort of Newcastle thing, and with the guys that got in there, they're in the stadium. It's a big project to them. It's very personal to them. Joe Lewis don't care. He's an elderly man now. He doesn't care. Daniel Levy can say that we're all custodians, we're all fans. I just.
You know that Joe Lewis situation. What frustrates me is like he's been at Spurs, obviously owner for years now. Yeah, he's getting old. He's not no spring chicken, is he? Surely you'd think, you know what? I've been the owner of this football club. I'm gonna have a little go here. I can't bring all this money to the grave with me. So let's have a little go and try and win something. So before my time's up, I've delivered something in that money.
That's the thing. He don't care. That's the thing. He doesn't care.
But
If he cared, he would have done it already.
With an owner, you would have surely thought you would have built a little bit of a rapport after running with a club. But these guys are just ice, isn't they? Ice cold. They're just
Money,
no
money,
connection.
money, money. That's all it's about.
Yeah,
That's all
clearly,
it's about.
Clearly, it's
And you know what? And Simon Jordan will always back sort of Daniel Levy because he's a chairman. Yeah, he runs the business well, and in his mind, Tottenham are where they are supposed to be. He doesn't view us as a Manchester United or an Arsenal or even a Manchester City or a Chelsea. He views us as being with Tottenham. That's where we belong to be. We want to be better than that. We want to, and we are going to let down the greatest player that we've ever had at the football club by not achieving anything in Harry Kane if we don't win anything.
I think it's interesting, back onto what you said about the chanting. It's a difficult one because football's not cheap, lads. You know that. Like it's not cheap to go home and away now. So if you're spending a lot of money and you're dedicated and you're going home and away, you've got an opportunity. You've got the right to voice whatever you want to say. In my opinion, within a certain, obviously you can't go overboard with it. But if you want to cheer out Daniel Levy, you're not happy with the job he's doing, I think you've got the right to do that.
What about protesting? Do you like the protests? The Enoch
No, because they look weak. We look poor.
I thought we didn't do ourselves any favours there, and I don't like to go into that debate because there's Enoch out that are really strong Enoch out, and they know obviously what the ins and outs of it all. But there was a meet the other day, wasn't there, at the training ground?
Yeah.
Not enough people there for me.
I think we got more players in the squad than there was at the protest.
That's the thing, right?
Levy sitting out the office window looking at that guy. There's only 28 people that don't like
I don't mind protesting, but you can only do it in mass numbers.
Yeah.
That's the only way it works.
Difficult to get though, because it's a Saturday afternoon. People have worked all week. They're looking forward to their weekends. You've got to give it up to go for Tottenham again.
Yeah.
You give it up enough. So then you're asking people to go over. So that's a tough one. That very, really tough to get people over there.
Well, look, not much time left, but we'll finish on a question I know you two will definitely like this one. Is Kane the best Spurs player ever?
I'll let you start.
I think, look, for me, it's a difficult one because he hasn't won a trophy. But I think as a striker, look, he's now level with Jimmy Greaves as the best ever goal scorer in Tottenham's history. I think the fact that he's stayed with us for so long, I think his quality as well. Obviously, he gives assists. He's an unbelievable playmaker. He's multiple Golden Boot winner. It's hard for me to say because I haven't seen Jimmy Greaves. I've seen highlights of him, but I never actually saw him in the flesh. But obviously, by all accounts, he was an unbelievable player. But for me, definitely modern era. For 100%, he's the best ever Tottenham player. In terms of all time, I know people older than me will say Jimmy Greaves. I know that. I know my dad will definitely say Jimmy Greaves.
He did it in less games, didn't he, Jimmy Greaves?
Did he do it in less games?
Less games, yeah.
Did it in 8 years, didn't he, I think?
I think it was about 20, 30 less games or something like that.
Yeah, for me.
But I think he is. I think he is.
I'm with you on that. I think Harry Kane's unbelievable.
Does he need a trophy, though, to get crowned best ever Spurs
I've had this
player?
debate as well. We have it about the Harry Kane trophy situation.
Yeah, obviously.
Look, I'm a Spurs fan, right? I'm not a Harry Kane fan. So what I mean by that is if Harry Kane don't win any trophies when he retires, that's bad for Harry Kane. But that's not bad for me. I'm annoyed Spurs haven't won any trophies. You know what I mean? So if you're like a Chelsea fan, Arsenal fan, a Man United fan, it's quick to come up and say, yeah, we ain't won nothing, but okay. I just appreciate what he's done for our club year in, year out. There's been a big debate about him not turning up in big football games, Champions League final, cup games. We've had this debate as well.
Yeah. That
was a big game the other night. I think it's Fulham.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the Crystal Palace game is a big game. I'm not putting them on the same.
It's not a Champions League
It's
final.
not a Champions League final. It's not on the same one.
No, I know what you're saying.
But it's a big game for where Tottenham are at the moment.
Yeah.
It is a huge, huge football match for us. And as I said, I struggle with any other team, Chelsea over the years, Liverpool, Man United, any one individual that's carried a team like he has.
Gareth Bale when he was at Spurs?
Perhaps, but I'm on about for a long period.
Yeah.
I'm on about for a long period.
Consistence.
I'm talking about Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal. You look at all their top teams when they had all their top players, there's not one individual
Would you
that's
say
carried them.
Would you say Thierry Henry maybe?
Really got Robert Pires, Lundberg, Bergkamp,
True.
Vieira.
True, but he's had Sonny with him. He's had also good players.
Yeah. But I just think he's a standout when it comes to that for me.
Here's a question for you.
The goals, the way he can adapt as well, his game, he can be the marksman, he can drop off so much.
Jazz,
through the game.
would you take a peak Drogba or a peak Harry Kane?
For me, I'll put my bias hat on. I think Harry Kane's an all-rounder.
Drogba, 9 goals in 9 finals.
Yeah, the thing
That's my biggest problem with the Kane
He's
situation.
been in more finals.
I think if you ask me,
That's simple. It's very
Kane,
simple. Chelsea probably in that era probably got to 2 finals a year.
Literally, he's done it in Champions League. He's done it in
Very
everywhere.
different to compare a player who's reaching finals year in, year out, year in, year out to somebody who's at a club like Spurs and is semi-finals an achievement.
Yeah, but have you,
I think if you ask just outside the box, who's a better player, Kane or Drogba? I think you have to go on Kane on longevity, how many goals he's scored, and everything like that.
I love
But
Drogba,
when you
by the
talk about peak players, there's a real conversation to be had there, in my opinion. Real conversation.
Well, if you're just talking about finals, like Jesse Lingard scored in a few finals for Man United, doesn't make him better than De Bruyne.
Yeah, not at the rate that Drogba did.
I mean,
Drogba's a
obviously,
joke.
but Drogba's an unbelievable beast when it comes to finals. But when it comes to finals, he's unmatched. He's probably the best ever final player.
I'm hoping this year we get to the FA Cup final and Harry Kane gets a brace or a hat trick and just shuts everyone up.
Interesting one, that one as well. We're talking about Harry Kane, just to go off a little bit there. What I'm saying with Harry Kane, is he thinking in his head? Because I think he'll probably leave. I really do. I hope he doesn't, but I think he'll probably leave. I think he'll probably end up at Man United. But is he thinking to himself, you know what? Got 1 year left, sign 4 more years after that. I'm giving this club another 5 years to deliver me a trophy. So he's thinking in his head, I've got 5 years with this club again. We'll go again. He might look back on that and after that 5 and go, didn't do it.
Yeah.
But there's an opportunity that he might do it.
Yeah.
And that might just be the icing on the cake for that man. But does he think that way? Is he thinking that way? That's another question.
What do you think means more to him? Let's say he goes to Man United. Man United become dominant. They win a couple of Premier Leagues and a Champions League or something in the next 5 years. Or to win like one trophy with Spurs.
One trophy
in the
with
next
Spurs.
5 years. No matter what trophy it is.
Yeah, I think if he won one thing with Spurs, it shuts everyone up and then they can focus on doing more. Because that's all it is with us now. It's like, we have won a trophy. And again, massive media bias on that. Because if you look at the big clubs that haven't done anything, like Villa, Everton, like these clubs that are in absolute turmoil, like with Everton, why do we get so much stick about it? It's like we get beaten with that stick all the time. It's because
Trophies, yeah. Newcastle haven't won anything since the 50s.
Yeah,
I
but
know.
No
I
one
think
says
it's because under Pochettino we were the best team in the league for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Best defense, an amazing attack, and we still never won anything. We were literally the best team in the league for 2 years, statistically.
yeah.
I think that's a big reason why we get beaten like that.
Yeah, but I just think, again, but the difference between that is, again, we brought Newcastle up. They get a documentary called The Entertainers after flopping a 12-point lead. And we're like, oh, we flop. So it's just like, hang about. You know, as I said, Arsenal don't get the top 4. We mugged them for it. No, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about them winning the league outright because, hang about, they flopped the top 4 last year. Why are they going to automatically win? Just because they look great. They look great because they beat Man United on the bounce and they beat Chelsea last season. Do you know what I mean? They kept answering us last season until they got to Newcastle and us. So, but again, back to Harry Kane and where's his mind at the moment? I think seeing his post-match stuff recently, he seems even more Tottenham than ever, actually. But then there's a certain man's name I won't mention on this channel that did the same thing. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
But again, for me, if Harry Kane goes Man United, he has no guarantees of winning the same at Spurs. Man United, okay, they probably look closer to challenging for the league, perhaps, with the squad that they've got. I don't think they're any closer to winning something than Spurs are.
Well, tonight they win. They're in the cup final.
They're in the cup final, and Newcastle could be as well. And the way the Geordie lads are going, the way the lads, I think you
just don't know what's going on in Harry Kane's mind.
No.
You would love to know that little bit of detail is how in love he is. He's been at Tottenham for a long time, by the way. I know there was that episode with the Gary Neville interview and he didn't turn up to train for a little while, but
That hurt, man. That hurt.
Yeah.
That did hurt.
because it wasn't
in the
like
grand scheme
him.
of things, though, I know that was bad, but there's a lot of players that go to extreme lengths to leave a football club.
Yeah, but I
Extreme lengths. I'm in about I'm not ever turning up for you again.
Yeah.
Levels.
Berbatov.
Like,
No.
and I'll be honest with you.
Diego
If you're
Costa.
talking about a player that was probably in that box to be able to do that, he probably won for the service and the goals he scored for his club. Didn't do it though. And he's come back, got his head down eventually, and scoring goals for us and scoring goals. And I tell you what, at Fulham the other night, he got a big reception after that game.
Yeah, he did.
A massive reception, and he walking away from that big smile on his face. I'd love it if he stayed. Love it if he just signed that.
He was nearly in
Is it-
tears in that interview after the game.
But isn't that what happened last 18 months ago? That in that summer, isn't that an indication that if things aren't going right this summer, then he will look to leave? Like that is where his head's at.
Yeah, and again, it all comes back to like just to summarise the whole show. It all comes back down to Daniel Levy and what he does, and if he can.
Always comes back
I
down
know,
to Levy.
But it's in his hands because if you go to Conte, here is a deal that you can't refuse. Here's all the assets that go with it. You know, buy who you need to buy. Your first job is to go to Harry, sign. Let's go. We're in a project together. For me, if Conte stays, Kane stays. If Kane stays, Conte stays. They're one of the same things. And I think the problem was when he wanted to go that season. I ain't going to work for the old Wolves manager. Forget this. I could go to Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
I'm Harry Kane at my peak. And he had absolute all in his rights.
That's a great shout, that.
And if he sits down with Conte and goes, right, we go again. Have you seen the boys we brought in? And I think, again, even with Son's form and why he feels so flat, is he's been probably all this stuff. He signed a new deal. We're going to buy this guy and buy that guy. Turns around, Benny Davies still there. Fantastic. You know what I mean? So, yeah, fingers crossed. And I just think, again, there's some weirdos out there that like hate Harry Kane.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And it makes no sense.
Strange.
Who do you replace him with? You can't. He's
Yeah,
unreplaceable.
sure,
you have to buy
night,
3-4 players to replace him.
Do you know
literally.
what as well was refreshing for me? Sorry, but like what's refreshing for me, the comments that he's making is there's so much football left this season. Yeah. Sometimes we get carried away. Arsenal are going to win. Oh, no, they've got 20 games to play, 19 games to play. Like there's so much football still to. We need him on side.
Yeah.
We need him firing. And I tell you what, when I see these messages that's coming across to me that he's at it, he fancies it. So and we need him desperately to be on fire for us, as he was the other night.
All right, last question to close off the show. Let's name our favourite Harry Kane goal.
Oh my God.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So not one springs to mind just quickly for me is the one in the mask at home after.
That's the one I was thinking of.
I
That's
think
the
we
one
all
I was
agree.
because we were top of the league for 15 minutes after that until we threw it away to a 10-man Arsenal. But that goal, the stadium, were you guys there that day? The stadium like shook.
The mask was off.
The mask, it's iconic when you look back at that. I think also
Isn't it a bit Spursy though to have an iconic moment in a game that we drew and screwed our season up?
Yeah, that's the most Spursy thing. That's how it is.
that's how we love it. I think other goals. There was a goal against Borussia Dortmund at home we scored, which was just absolutely unbelievable. First sort of 5-10 minutes, bullied everyone, bang, like top corner.
One at Chelsea springs to mind at home, and he paid a little ball in. I think about 25 yards out, bang. I think we won that game.
That's when he got the hat trick.
Stumbled past the
Yeah.
Chelsea players and just finished it.
Yeah, and I think the winner of Man City last season capped off one of the best individual displays
Yeah.
I've ever seen. That was an iconic moment as well.
But yeah,
That was iconic.
I think with the celebration, who is against? It's like that, against Arsenal. It's just like, it's
Great record against Arsenal as well. He's got brilliant record.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And people say he doesn't turn up in big games.
We've had that debate. There's no bigger for a Spurs fan
Than
any
North
single
London derby.
season.
Champions League final.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But you're talking about every season, yeah, for how long he's
Henry
been
never
Two
scored
games.
in a final in his career. Does that mean he's not a big game player? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's true.
Scored a great goal in the semis though against Real Madrid.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Quarters.
No, Villarreal was the semis,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
exactly.
Yeah, of course, great goal. In fairness, Harry did the great goal in the quarter against Dortmund, didn't he? Away from home.
That was the last 16,
Last
wasn't it?
16, yeah.
All right, but I think we'll leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. It's
Appreciate
been a
you.
long time in the making,
Yeah.
but we got it done finally.
On the away
Hopefully,
leg soon.
yeah. Hopefully, we'll do
100%.
it again. But do you want to let the people know where they can find you guys?
Absolutely, I'll leave that to you, mate.
Yeah, at Same Old Spurs Pod on all the socials. You can go sameoldspurs.com to listen to the podcast. And we're going to put this out on the podcast as well, so everyone can listen in audio. And yeah, just keep supporting everyone who's doing the Tottenham content because unlike Daniel Levy, we invest time and money into this.
Well done, lads. You two top guys. You carry on doing what you're doing, mate. You're doing
Brilliant.
brilliant.
Big
Thank
up to
you very
guys.
much, guys. It's
Appreciate
great to get all your views on Spurs. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Spurs.